Share from Rabbi Horowitz. This week we'll speak about somebody who rents an apartment. Is he allowed to rent out the apartment to somebody else? And if he does, who receives the payment, the rental payment? Does he receive it, or does the balabais, the owner of the apartment, receive it? So in Choshen Mishpat Siman Shin Samach Gimel, the Ramah writes that it depends if he received permission from the balabais, from the owner, to rent it out, then he's allowed to rent it out. And if not, then he's not. The Sma explains, there is a principle called Ein HaShoyel Rashai Lahashil Ve'ein HaSoicher Rashai Lahaskir. Somebody who borrows or rents something from somebody else does not have automatic rishus to lend it on or to rent it on, to hire it out. However, there's a difference between karka and metalton. Why so? Because the Gemara explains, why can a person stop his renter from renting it out to somebody else? Because you can say, at mehemis li b'shavua, v'hu mehemis li b'shavua, meaning to say, I trust you. If something goes wrong, I'll trust your shavua that you'll make. But I don't necessarily trust somebody else. So if so, that's only something like metaltalin, that something can happen to it, it can get lost, it can get stolen, and he'll have to make a shavua. Whereas by karka, this doesn't apply. Now also an apartment, which is made for living, so then also the balabais can say that I only rented it out to you in the same terms that you're living. But let's say if you'll rent it out to somebody else who has, let's say, more kids or wilder kids, and the things can get destroyed in the apartment, it won't be the same living conditions, then he can also say, I don't allow you, unless he gives him explicit permission. Says the Ramah, what happens if he did not get permission to rent it out? And he rented it out anyway, and he got money for it. More money than he himself is renting for. So who gets that difference? So he says it's gezel, and the schar goes to the balabais, because he had no right in the first place to rent it out. But if he rented it out with permission, then he rightfully gets the difference of rent. Now, by metaltalin, let's say a person rents a cow from his friend. The Gemara says, and you lent it out to somebody else and it dies. So now a shoyel is chayv to pay the seicher, because a shoyel is chayv ba'insim, whereas a seicher is pat from einsim. So the shoyel would have to pay the seicher. But says Rabbi Yossi, no. A person cannot do business with the para of his friend. So therefore, the balabais gets the money. So based on that, says the Ramah, in our case, by metaltalin, the bailim harishayim, the original owner, he gets the rental, and he gets the whatever penalty the shoyel has. But if he's makabel rishus, if he receives rishus from the balabais, then whatever penalty the shoyel is chayiv goes to the middleman. Now, says the Beis Yosef that by metaltalin, I argue with the Ramah, because even though, of course, he doesn't have permission to rent it out, but the eved, he does not have to give the difference to the balabais. Why? Because by metaltalin, as we said last time, when a person steals metaltalin and he uses it, his only chiyuv is to give back, return the stolen item. He does not have to pay for the shimush. So too, just like he himself doesn't have to pay for the shimush, he also can keep the money that he made by renting it out to somebody else. That's also a certain kind of shimush. So he's potter. So we have here a tremendous machlokes l'maisa between the Ramah and the Mechaber and the Shוכar. The Ramah holds that even by metaltanin, but the Eved, if he did not receive permission, he has to give the money of the rental to the balabais, whereas according to the Mechaber, he can keep the money himself because it's a form of shemush. Now, based on that, on the Beisayis, on the Mechaber, it's mistaber to say that even by karka, where there's no gzela, karka ain't an gzelis, and there, b'di'evet, the money would have to go back to the balabais. However, according to the Mechaber, it's mistaber that he doesn't have to request permission of the owner to rent it out, because it's another kind of ishtamshus. Obviously, only within the living conditions that it was originally rented out to him. And as much as he can use it, he can also rent it out to somebody else to use it in the same form of living conditions that he himself is allowed to. Kol tov.